Look around you. Look within you. There are moments in life when the path ahead seems shrouded in an impenetrable fog. The weight of the world feels heavy on your shoulders. It might be a financial struggle that seems endless, a health diagnosis that shakes you to your core, a personal loss that leaves a void, or a dream that feels like it's crumbling to dust. In these moments, the heart grows heavy and a dangerous whisper begins to echo in the silence. Give up. It's over. There is no way out. I am here today to tell you with every fiber of my conviction, do not listen to that whisper. Do not lose hope. The concept of a promise is a fragile thing in the human realm. We make promises with the best of intentions, but life, with its unpredictable currents, often forces us to break them. We promise to be there for someone, but circumstances pull us away. We promise ourselves we will change a habit, but old patterns prove stubborn. This inherent fragility of human promises can, over time, condition us to approach all promises with a degree of skepticism, even when that promise comes from the divine. So, when we are in the throes of a genuine crisis, when the walls are closing in and the light seems to have been extinguished forever, the Quranic verse, "For indeed, with hardship will be ease. Indeed, with hardship here will be ease," can sometimes feel like a beautiful but distant theoretical concept, a poetic verse for good times, not a practical anchor for the storm. The journey from hearing this promise to truly embedding it in the marrow of our souls, to making it the unshakable foundation upon which we stand during an earthquake, is the very essence of transforming hope from a feeling into a state of being. Let us first sit with the sheer power of its construction. Allah does not say, "With hardship, there might be ease," leaving room for doubt. He states it as an unchangeable law of the universe, as irrevocable as the law of gravity. Just as day must follow night, and spring must follow winter, ease must follow hardship, this is a cosmic guarantee. But the verse goes even further. It doesn't promise a single fleeting moment of relief. It repeats the promise twice, a stylistic masterpiece in the Quran that scholars have pondered for centuries. This repetition is not for emphasis alone, it is a revelation of a profound truth. It signifies two distinct eases. The first ease is the tangible resolution, the visible end of the hardship itself, the job offer that comes after months of unemployment, the healing that follows sickness, the reconciliation after a bitter conflict. This is the ease we actively pray for, the one we can see and touch. But the second ease is often the deeper, more transformative one. It is the ease that comes from within the hardship, the strength and wisdom forged in the furnace of adversity. It is the profound sense of gratitude for simple blessings that you only developed because you lost them temporarily. It is the resilience you discover in your own spirit, a resilience you never knew you possessed. It is the clarity about your life's purpose that only emerged after everything you thought was important was stripped away. The first ease solves the problem. The second ease transforms you because of the problem. Understanding this duality is what allows a believer to navigate hardship with a different posture. It's the difference between someone who is merely waiting for the storm to pass and someone who is learning to dance in the rain. When you know that a second, more profound gift is embedded within the trial itself, your relationship with the trial changes. You begin to look for it. You start to ask, what is this teaching me? How is this refining me? What strength is this building in me? This shifts the dynamic from one of passive victimhood to one of active, albeit painful, participation in your own growth. The hardship becomes a severe but necessary teacher, and the promise of a double ease is the certification you will receive at the end of the course. Yet the human heart, in its immediacy, struggles with the divine timeline. We want the ease to synchronize with our wristwatch, not with the celestial clock of a universe whose scale we cannot comprehend. We cry out on a Tuesday, expecting a solution by Friday, and when it doesn't arrive, we feel the promise has been broken. This is where the stories of the prophets become our most potent teachers. Consider the trial of Prophet Ayyub Job, peace be upon him. He was a man blessed with immense wealth, a large family, and excellent health, all of which were taken from him in a successive, devastating blow. His body was afflicted with a painful illness, his wealth was lost, and his children perished. For years, he endured this unimaginable suffering. His human companions, his own wife, even suggested he call upon Allah, not understanding that his faith was his anchor, not a transaction for immediate relief. He never lost hope. He never ceased to be grateful. He held on to the promise, even when there was not a single physical shred of evidence to support it. And when his trial reached its divinely appointed conclusion, his ease did not merely match his hardship, it multiplied it. And we granted him his family and a like can number with them. The Quran tells us, his health was restored, his wealth was returned twofold, and his family was given back to him. The promise was fulfilled in the most magnificent way, but only after a period of patience that feels superhuman to us. Ayub's story is the ultimate testament to the fact that the promise of ease is not bound by our perception of time. It is a guarantee that will be fulfilled with perfect precision and in the way that is best for us, even if our limited minds cannot fathom the wisdom behind the delay. This brings us to the practical application of this promise in our own, less monumental but deeply personal struggles. How do we make فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْيُسْرِ يُسْرًا a living, breathing reality in our lives, and not just a calligraphic verse on a wall? It begins with a conscious daily, sometimes hourly, act of remembrance. When anxiety grips your chest, verbally affirm the promise. Say it out loud, Allah has promised me ease. This is the hardship and the ease is coming. This is not wishful thinking. It is the ultimate realism, for you are aligning your inner narrative with the ultimate reality decreed by the creator of that reality. Secondly, actively look for the first signs of the first ease. They are often tiny, like the first green shoot after a fire. It might be an unexpected kind word from a colleague on a difficult day, a small financial reprieve that buys you another week, a moment of laughter that reminds you joy still exists. Acknowledge these as the advance guards of the promised relief. And finally, journal or reflect on the emergence of the second ease. As you go through your trial, take note of how you are changing. Are you becoming more patient, more empathetic towards others who suffer, less attached to material possessions, more reliant on your prayer? This is you collecting the second ease, the spiritual treasure that is the true, lasting reward of your ordeal. The divine promise of ease is not a passive pill you swallow to numb the pain. It is a dynamic, interactive covenant. It requires you to trust the promise maker, to participate in your own transformation, and to have the spiritual perception to see the dawn while it is still dark. Hold on to it, for it is the strongest rope you will ever grasp. We are, by nature and by the stories we have been told, conditioned to look for the miracle in the final. We await the grand, sweeping gesture that solves everything in one fell swoop. The sudden windfall that erases all debt, the spontaneous and total healing that defies every medical report. The phone call that instantly reverses our misfortune. We gaze expectantly at the horizon, waiting for our Red Sea to part, and in doing so, we often miss the countless smaller streams that have already been diverted on our behalf, the subtle pathways being carved through the rock of our circumstances long before the final spectacular collapse. This is the profound truth we must internalize. Allah's miracles are very often not in the dramatic singular event that ends the struggle, but in the gentle, persistent, and intricate unfolding that allows us to endure it, to grow through it, and to emerge from it transformed. The grand finale is merely the moment the miracle becomes visible to everyone. Its real work has been happening in the quiet, unseen spaces of our journey all along. Consider the metaphor of a seed. We plant it in the dark, damp soil and we wait. The miracle we anticipate is the vibrant flower or the sturdy tree that will one day break the surface. But the true miracle is not the tree itself. The miracle is the entire hidden process of unfolding. It is the seed casing, tough and resilient, softening just enough to let life emerge, but strong enough to protect its contents. It is the first tiny root, the radical, blindly and faithfully pushing downward into the darkness, anchoring the future life, gathering water and nutrients from a source it cannot see. It is the hypocotyl, the embryonic stem, pushing upward against the immense weight of the soil, a monumental effort that happens in complete silence and darkness. Each of these stages is a miracle in itself, a complex, divinely programmed sequence of cellular division, chemical signaling, and relentless growth. When the seedling finally breaks the surface and sees the sun, that is the glorious, visible result we call a miracle. But to only see the miracle in that final green shoot is to miss the profound, ongoing wonder of the entire germination process. Our lives are precisely the same. The miracle is in the unfolding. So what does this unfolding look like in the gritty reality of our daily trials? It manifests as a series of small, seemingly mundane, yet profoundly significant interventions. It is the strength He places in your heart to wake up one more morning when you were certain, the night before, that you could not bear to face another day. That strength is not a psychological trick. It is a divine infusion, a miracle of the heart. It is the unexpected phone call from an old friend who, for no discernible reason, felt compelled to reach out at the very moment you were sinking into despair. That is not a coincidence. It is an orchestrated mercy, a miracle of timing. It is the sudden, inexplicable sense of peace that descends upon you in the middle of a panic attack, a calm that logic cannot explain, a tranquility that truly passes all understanding. This is the sakna, the divine serenity that Allah casts into the hearts of the believers, and it is a miracle far greater than the immediate removal of the problem, for it gives you the tools to navigate the problem with a steady soul. This perspective requires a fundamental shift in our perception. We must learn to become detectives of the divine, actively looking for the fingerprints of Allah in the minutiae of our lives. When you are struggling to make ends meet and an unexpected check arrives in the mail, covering exactly the bill that was due, that is a miracle of provision. It may not be the $1 million you dreamed of, but it is the precise, tailored assistance you needed at that moment. When you are lost in grief and a memory surfaces that makes you smile for the first time in weeks, that is a miracle of healing. A gentle stitch closing a wound from the inside. When you are trapped in a cycle of negative thoughts and a verse from the Quran suddenly resonates with you with a clarity and comfort it never held before. That is a miracle of guidance, a personal message sent directly to your heart. These are not lesser miracles because they are small. They are the very substance of divine care, the personalized, intimate way in which Allah manages our affairs. The grand cinematic miracles were for the prophets to establish proof for their people. The small, personal, unfolding miracles are for you and me to sustain our faith and our hearts. This understanding also redefines the very nature of prayer and expectation. When we make dua, we are often fixated on a single, specific outcome. We ask for job A at company B with a salary of C. We have written the entire script for the miracle, and we expect Allah to simply sign off on our production. But the creator of the 7 heavens is not a celestial executive approving our business proposals. He is the all-wise, the all-knowing. When we ask for a specific outcome, He often gives us what we truly need, which is the strength, wisdom, and resilience to handle our situation. And He delivers it through this process of unfolding. Our prayer for a specific job might go unanswered, but in its place we might develop a new skill, a deeper patience, or a more resilient character that prepares us for a far better opportunity we could not have envisioned. The miracle was not in getting what we asked for, but in being given what we truly needed through the journey of not getting it. The unfolding is the answer. It is just written in a language we are still learning to read, the language of divine wisdom. Therefore, to navigate hard times with genuine hope is to train our eyes to see the miracle not as a distant destination, but as the very path we are walking. It is to find faith in the strength you didn't have yesterday, to find hope in the small relief that arrived today, and to find certainty in the promise that tomorrow holds another facet of the unfolding mercy, the final miracle, the parting of your particular sea will come. But do not, in your anticipation of that grand event, blind yourself to the minor miracles that are sustaining you with every step. The path through the sea is not walked in a single bound. It is traversed one faithful step at a time, and with each step, the water recede is just enough for your foot to land on solid ground. That in itself is the ongoing, unfolding miracle. Your duty is not to command the sea, but to trust the one who does, and to have the courage to take that next step, guided by the countless small assurances he has already placed along your way.